Hi, my name is Rob McKinney. I'm a trial lawyer here in Nashville, Tennessee. Today I'm interviewing Bobby Jackson, divorce lawyer to the stars. Bobby's been practicing divorce law for over 44 years here in Nashville, Tennessee. He is a super lawyer. He's been rated AV by Martindale-Hubbell, and several years ago the Tennessean ran an article on him as the best divorce lawyer in Nashville. Today I'm going to ask Bobby some questions about prenuptial agreements. Are they valid, and should you have one? Good morning, Bobby.
Good morning, Rob. Thank you for asking me to be here.
What is a prenuptial agreement?
A prenuptial agreement is a legal and binding contract that parties sign prior to marriage in order to protect their financial interests in real estate, investments, stocks and bonds, any financial assets. The purpose of it is to protect those where the new spouse, in the event of divorce, cannot ask for a portion of those in the division of the marital assets. Excuse me. It also defines that any increase in value of premarital assets will not be considered marital, and the spouse cannot request a portion of that. Tennessee does recognize prenuptial agreements as valid contracts if you comply with two basic requirements. Number one, each party has to have independent counsel to look at it. In other words, you cannot have your lawyer draw up the agreement, have your wife-to-be to sign it without her having legal advice. That's important. Secondly, each party has to attach to the document a complete financial disclosure of what their assets are at the time that they sign the agreement. If you meet those two criteria, then generally the courts will enforce it, find it valid, and the spouse, they will protect those assets from the other spouse.
Now, can you disinherit your wife through a prenuptial agreement?
You cannot really disinherit her. You can try to limit what assets she has access to, but the estate laws allow a wife to dissent from a will and to request a portion of the estate. The prenuptial agreement can limit what assets she gets at the time of death. That's one of the provisions. It affects divorce and death.
Now, why should someone get a prenuptial agreement?
I think anyone with substantial assets, whatever that means to them, substantial could mean they have a net worth of $100,000 or they have a net worth of $2 million. If you want to protect your assets, you've been married before, you've gone through a divorce, generally that's the people who get a prenuptial agreement. I've done several prenuptial agreements for women who were worth several $1 million from their prior marriage, and they want to protect that on this new marriage.
Bobby, any other closing comments on prenuptial agreements?
Well, I think anyone who's been married, especially before, and has gone through the trials and tribulations of divorce should seek advice from their lawyer as to whether or not a prenuptial agreement would be helpful to them, how it would protect them, whether it's worth spending the money for it to be drafted. Generally, people who have a net worth of less than $100,000 do not ask for a prenuptial agreement. But in today's society, with people having a large equity in their house or large 401ks, it's very advisable to have a prenuptial agreement.
Can you waive alimony in a prenuptial agreement?
Absolutely. That's one of the factors that's important, and I'm glad you mentioned that, Rob, that you can have your spouse waive alimony, and that is enforceable.
Any parting comments before we leave?
No, I just think you need to go to your attorney of your choice, talk to them about it. Generally, a consultation doesn't cost anything, and they'll advise you whether or not you really need to consider paying for a prenuptial agreement.
Thank you, Bobby. Again, if you have any further questions or need information on prenuptial agreements, please call us at 615-259-9009, or you can send me an email at rob@robmckinneylaw.com.